Have you ever wondered why some women effortlessly captivate every room they walk into? It's not about perfection or flashy moves, it's something deeper, something quietly powerful. It's the little things they do, the small, confident actions that spark a magnetic pull no man can resist. Today, I'm going to reveal the 7 charming, irresistible habits confident women embrace that make men go absolutely crazy. Get ready, because this isn't just about attraction. It's about embracing your own power and owning it with grace. When a confident woman engages in playful teasing, it's like watching someone dance between charm and wit. It's not about being mean or sarcastic, far from it. It's about creating a light, flirtatious tension that makes the conversation feel alive. She might playfully challenge something he says, mock his overconfidence with a smile. It's never intended to insult, it's meant to show that she's not just passively sitting in the moment, but actively participating. And that presence, that sense of fun, it makes her unforgettable. Men love to feel engaged. They don't want to feel like they're being interviewed or like they're carrying the entire interaction. When a woman is playfully teasing, she's essentially saying, "I'm comfortable here, I'm enjoying this." That comfort is contagious. Suddenly the man finds himself leaning in, smiling more, trying to keep up with her pace. Not because he feels pressured, but because he's having fun too. It sparks something primitive, a mix of challenge and reward that keeps his interest locked in. What makes this so effective is the balance. A confident woman doesn't tease just to get attention. She does it because it reflects how she sees the world. She's not afraid to be silly, to laugh, to make a joke at someone's expense in a kind-hearted way. And most importantly, she's not afraid to be teased back. That openness, that back and forth exchange, turns the interaction into a shared experience. It's no longer just about chemistry, it's about connection. The beauty of teasing is that it breaks the mold. In a world where people are often overly cautious or try too hard to be agreeable, playful teasing stands out. It shows that she's not trying to win him over by pretending to be perfect. She's inviting him into a moment of authenticity. Maybe she makes fun of his cheesy pickup line or laughs at his obsession with his car or his gym routine. But it's all done with a spark in her eye that says, "I like you enough to mess with you." And here's the deeper truth. Teasing, when done with confidence, builds attraction because it creates emotional spikes. It shifts the energy. One moment they're laughing, the next there's a pause, a look, a slight lean in. It keeps things unpredictable, and unpredictability in the early stages of romance is gold. It gives the other person a reason to chase, to stay curious, to wonder what's coming next. Confident women know this instinctively. They don't script it, it's just how they are. They don't seek approval, they playfully nudge boundaries and invite the other person to step into a world where things are a little less serious, a little more fun. And for a man, that kind of interaction doesn't just spark interest, it stays in his mind long after the moment ends. There's something magnetic about a woman who doesn't try to hide the little things that make her different. She laughs too loud at her own jokes. She gets way too excited about a random coffee flavor. She talks with her hands, or maybe she snorts when she laughs. These are the quirks most people try to suppress in hopes of seeming more polished or more perfect. But confident women do the opposite. They own those quirks, and that's exactly what makes them stand out. It's not about trying to be weird or seeking attention. It's about being so at ease with who they are that they don't feel the need to apologize for it. Men are drawn to authenticity, even if they don't always realize it at first. When a woman embraces her quirks, she sends a subtle message. I like myself. I'm not here to perform for anyone. And that message is incredibly attractive. It takes confidence to show up without a filter in a world where everyone's trying to curate the perfect image. But when she does, it creates a kind of emotional safety. It tells him, consciously or subconsciously, that he can also be real. He can drop the act, relax, and just be himself too. The most captivating moments in connection don't come from perfection. They come from the little surprises that make someone different. Maybe she admits she still sleeps with a stuffed animal when she's sick, or she does a goofy dance when her favorite song comes on. These aren't things you'll find in a dating profile, but they're the moments that stick in a man's memory. Why? Because they feel real. They're unscripted. And when a woman shares those things freely, she gives the relationship a chance to grow in a space that isn't based on pretense. Owning your quirks doesn't mean oversharing or making everything about you. It means you're not editing yourself for approval. You're not waiting to see what the other person wants you to be. You show up fully, and you trust that if someone is going to like you, they should like the real you. That kind of self-trust is powerful. It's the kind of energy that draws people in, not just because of what she says or does, but because of the vibe she gives off when she's not trying too hard. It also shows emotional maturity. A woman who embraces her quirks isn't looking for someone to validate her. She's already done that for herself. That lightness, that ease, it makes her fun to be around. She's not walking on eggshells. She's not hyper aware of how she's being perceived. She's present. And that presence makes the interaction feel safe, spontaneous, and genuine. A man doesn't have to guess who she is because she's already showing him. And that level of openness, that's rare and unforgettable. When a confident woman gives a compliment, it lands differently. It's not generic or forced, and it's never given just to get something in return. Instead, it's intentional, thoughtful, and rooted in genuine observation. She might notice the way he carries himself when he walks into a room, or how he speaks with passion about something he loves. And when she points it out, it catches him off guard. In the best way. It makes him feel seen, not just flattered. That kind of attention is rare, and it hits deeper than surface-level praise. Most people are used to compliments that sound the same. You're handsome, you're smart, you're funny. But a confident woman takes it a step further. She might say, I like how you light up when you talk about your work, or you have this calm energy that makes people feel at ease. These aren't just compliments, they're reflections of how closely she's paying attention. And when a man realizes she's actually tuned in to who he is, it creates an instant emotional connection. She's not doing it to boost his ego or to play a role. It's just her nature to speak what she sees. Confident women don't feel threatened by giving praise. They understand that lifting someone up doesn't take anything away from them. In fact, they know their words carry weight because they don't give them away cheaply. So when she offers a compliment, it lands with more impact. He believes it because she doesn't just hand those words out to everyone. It also flips the dynamic. Often men feel like they're the ones who have to impress or prove themselves in the early stages of dating. But when a woman confidently compliments a man, she levels the playing field. It's a moment where she shows she's not afraid to speak her mind or acknowledge what she likes. That level of openness and directness is refreshing. It feels mature. It shows that she's emotionally secure and that she values connection more than playing games. And here's something else. It's not just what she says, but how she says it. Her tone, her eye contact, her timing. All of that adds to the moment. A confident woman knows how to deliver a compliment with grace. She might let it slip casually in the middle of a conversation, or she might pause, look at him, and say it with intention. Either way, it's not manipulative, it's real. And because it's real, it hits differently. Men remember those moments, not just the words, but the feeling. They walk away from the conversation thinking, she saw something in me no one else noticed. That's powerful. It builds trust. It builds attraction. And more than that, it builds curiosity. Because when someone makes you feel that understood, you naturally want to know more about them. You lean in, you stay interested, you keep coming back. There's a kind of presence that confident women carry without saying a word. It's in the way they walk into a room, the way they hold eye contact just long enough to make it meaningful, the way they carry themselves like they belong exactly where they are. This is what people call silent confidence, and it's one of the most attractive qualities a woman can possess. It doesn't demand attention, It earns it. It doesn't shout for approval, it simply exists. Calm, steady, undeniable, and men notice it immediately, even if they can't always describe why. Body language speaks volumes before any words are exchanged. A confident woman knows this instinctively. She doesn't fidget or shrink herself to take up less space. She stands tall, not stiff, but relaxed. Her shoulders are back, her eyes are open, and she moves with a kind of ease that tells everyone around her, "I'm good with me." That energy is magnetic. It makes people want to be near her, to understand what she's about, to get closer. Not because she's trying to lure anyone in, but because her vibe is too rare to ignore. Eye contact is another powerful tool she uses, often without thinking about it. She doesn't dart her eyes away when someone looks at her. She holds the gaze, steady and unbothered, with a hint of curiosity. It's not aggressive or challenging. It's warm and grounded. And when a man finds himself on the receiving end of that kind of eye contact, it catches him. It makes him feel seen and acknowledged. There's a split second where he senses something deeper, like she's reading him without needing him to speak. That moment lingers long after it's over. A smile isn't a performance either. It shows up naturally, not to impress, not to flirt, but simply because she's enjoying herself. There's no overdoing it, no exaggerated gestures. Just a quiet confidence that says, "I don't need to prove anything to anyone." That makes her feel safe to be around. It puts people at ease. It removes the pressure from interactions and replaces it with calm curiosity. What makes this kind of body language so powerful is that it doesn't rely on effort. It comes from inner alignment, being at peace with who you are, regardless of what's happening around you. A confident woman doesn't need to overcompensate with loud outfits or overly dramatic behavior. Her stillness is louder than noise. She's aware of her surroundings, but not controlled by them. She observes, she listens, and she only speaks when she has something real to say. That self-restraint, that poise, it makes her stand out in a world full of noise and overexposure. A man might not be able to put his finger on it, but he'll feel it. He'll feel her groundedness, her quiet strength, her ability to take up space without asking for permission. And in that silence, she says everything. There's something undeniably attractive about a woman who can say no and still leave the conversation feeling light, fun, and engaging. It's a skill few people truly master, setting boundaries without coming across as harsh or closed off. But confident women have this down to an art. They know how to protect their time, energy, and values, and they do it in a way that makes people respect them even more. In fact, when a man encounters a woman who can playfully set boundaries, it doesn't push him away, it pulls him in. The key is in the delivery. A confident woman doesn't need to raise her voice or get defensive. She simply knows what she wants and isn't afraid to express it, often with a touch of humor or sass. Maybe he suggests something she's not into, and instead of making it a big deal, she smiles and says, "Nice try, but that's not gonna work on me." It's light. It's flirtatious, but it's also crystal clear. She's not gonna bend her standards just to keep someone interested, and that refusal to compromise on her worth is incredibly powerful. Men are used to getting away with a lot when charm is involved. But when a woman calls him out with a grin, when she throws his line back at him with a laugh, it's unexpected. It challenges him, and most men, especially confident ones, love a challenge that feels playful and engaging. It sparks something instinctive, the desire to rise to the occasion, to earn her time, to prove they're worth the chase. But it's not just about flirting or turning someone down. This ability to set boundaries shows up in everyday moments too. Maybe she's busy and can't hang out, so she simply says, "I'd love to, but I have something important I need to focus on." No excuses, no over-explaining. She knows her priorities and she sticks to them. And because she doesn't make it a big deal, the guy doesn't feel rejected. He feels intrigued. He sees that she has a life, she values her time, and she doesn't drop everything for someone she just met. That kind of self-respect is incredibly attractive. She also knows how to say no without killing the vibe. If a conversation gets too personal too fast, she'll steer it in another direction, maybe with a smile and a comment like, "Well, we're not going that deep this early, are we?" It's direct, but it keeps the mood light. That ability to redirect without shutting down the moment keeps things flowing, keeps the man on his toes, and builds respect without tension. At the core of it all is one simple truth. Confident women don't set boundaries to push people away. They do it to protect their peace. And the way they do it, with charm, wit, and ease, shows a man that being around them is a privilege, not a guarantee. That balance of openness and firmness, sweetness and strength, leaves a lasting impression. There's something electric about a woman who does the unexpected. Not in a loud, attention-seeking way, but in small, bold gestures that show she's not afraid to take the lead. It could be as simple as sending the first text after a great conversation, cracking a clever joke before he gets the chance, or even walking up and starting a conversation when she sees someone she's intrigued by. These little surprises aren't about chasing, they're about showing she's comfortable stepping into the moment, and that confidence leaves a man caught off guard in the best possible way. Men are often conditioned to believe they're supposed to make the first move, take the lead, and carry the conversation. So when a woman flips the script, even just a little, it instantly makes her stand out. She doesn't wait for the perfect timing. She creates it. She doesn't second guess whether she's too forward. She trusts her instincts and follows them. That boldness isn't just rare, it's refreshing. It signals that she's not afraid of rejection, not because she's immune to it, but because she knows her worth isn't tied to anyone's reaction. When a confident woman takes initiative, it also adds a layer of unpredictability to the interaction. A man doesn't quite know what to expect from her next, and that intrigue keeps him engaged. Maybe she suddenly suggests a spontaneous idea or gently challenges something he says, not to be argumentative, but to spark conversation. These little curveballs break the rhythm in a good way. They keep the dynamic alive and interesting. He finds himself mentally leaning forward, wanting to keep up with her energy. This kind of boldness isn't loud or over the top. It's subtle, it's playful, and it's rooted in her authenticity. She's not doing things to prove a point. She's doing them because she's present, she's interested, and she's not afraid to let that show. That vulnerability mixed with courage is a powerful combination. It sends the message, I'm not here to play games. I'm here to enjoy this moment, and I'm not going to wait for someone else to make it happen. And the truth is, men crave that kind of energy. They admire a woman who isn't passive, someone who's comfortable enough in her skin to take small risks, who doesn't play hard to get just for the sake of it. It makes him feel like he's engaging with someone who's emotionally mature, someone who values connection over ego. It sets the tone for a relationship that's built on mutual effort, where both people contribute, both people initiate, and both people feel free to show up fully. That unpredictability, when delivered with confidence and warmth, becomes incredibly attractive. A man never quite knows what she'll do next, and he loves that. It keeps the experience exciting. It makes her unforgettable, because in a world full of people waiting for permission, she's the one who gives herself the green light. There's an undeniable pull toward a woman who genuinely enjoys her own company. It's not that she's antisocial or closed off. It's that she's found a rhythm within herself that doesn't rely on constant validation or attention. She can sit alone at a cafe, lost in thought or deep into a book, and still radiate a quiet confidence that turns heads. She doesn't need to be surrounded by people to feel important. That kind of self-containment is rare, and it's exactly what draws men in without her even trying. Men are naturally curious about a woman who isn't chasing approval. When they see someone who seems perfectly happy without trying to impress anyone, it sparks intrigue. She's not showing off. She's not trying to be noticed, but somehow she is. That mystery. Where does her confidence come from? What's going on in her mind? What makes her so content? makes her stand out in a world full of noise. It's almost like she's in her own world, and the most appealing thing about her is that she's not trying to pull anyone into it, yet they want to be part of it anyway. Her independence isn't cold or distant. It's warm, effortless, and magnetic. She takes herself out for a solo walk, treats herself to dinner, spends weekends doing things that recharge her instead of waiting for someone to invite her along. There's something powerful about that kind of energy. Someone who isn't afraid of silence. Someone who knows how to enjoy it. It tells a man, without saying a word, I'm whole. I'm not looking to be completed. I'm looking to be met. This kind of energy challenges the usual dating dynamic. A woman who's comfortable being alone isn't easily impressed, and not in a dismissive way, just in a way that shows she values substance over performance. She's not looking for someone to fill a void. She's open to connection, but only if it adds value to her already full life. That makes her presence feel earned, not given by default. And for a man, that raises the stakes. In a good way. He wants to be someone worthy of that space in her world, not just another passerby. He also brings a different level of calm to her interactions. There's no clinginess, no pressure, no fear of being alone. That ease makes everything flow more naturally. Conversations aren't about testing compatibility or forcing chemistry. They're about curiosity, fun, and mutual discovery. The pressure melts away because she's not trying to control the outcome. She's just enjoying the moment. And that's when connection tends to happen most effortlessly. A woman like this doesn't just talk about self-love. She lives it. She builds her own happiness, tends to her own needs, and invites others in from a place of abundance, not lack. That level of independence and inner peace creates an energy that men can't help but be drawn to. It's rare, it's real, and it lingers long after she's left the room. When you look at all these little things confident women do, whether it's embracing their quirks, giving meaningful compliments, setting playful boundaries, or simply enjoying their own company, it's clear that what makes them irresistible isn't perfection, it's presence. It's the quiet boldness in the way they carry themselves, the softness with strength in how they connect, and the fearless authenticity that says, this is who I am. They don't chase attention, they draw it naturally. They don't follow a script, they live in alignment with who they are. And in doing so, they create a kind of magnetism that lingers. These aren't grand gestures, they're subtle, sincere choices that reflect a deep sense of self-worth. And for men who are paying attention, that kind of energy doesn't just attract, it captivates.